And if you're just joining us, we are covering breaking news happening right now in Tel Aviv. A shooting attack occurring just moments ago next to the Dan Panorama Hotel. That's right on the Tel Aviv beachfront. Reports say 6 people have been injured. The attacker has been neutralized. Hamas has already praised the attack. Defense correspondent Jonathan Regev joins me again. Jonathan, what can you tell us at this time?
So more and more reports are coming up, more than what we had before. We are hearing of one person killed and at least 6 others injured in various conditions. The assailant shot by someone on the scene. Unclear at the moment if it was a policeman or a civilian. But again, armed people on the scene were able to kill that person. Sarah, we're speaking of a third Israeli killed today. 2 more Israelis were killed this morning in the attack in the area of the Jordan Valley near the village of Hamra. Another Israeli from that attack is severely injured in a hospital. So clearly a bloody day. There was some relief earlier today when the prayers in the Temple Mount went by relatively quiet, but we are seeing that all of the other arenas are very, very active, and clearly a very difficult week for the Israeli security establishment. That incident in the Temple Mount, the rockets flying from Gaza, from Lebanon, the attack this morning, the attack this evening in Tel Aviv. Let's remember there's another stabbing attack on Tuesday in the area of the Tzrifin, not far from Tel Aviv either. So a difficult week regarding this attack in Tel Aviv, as you mentioned, happening on the promenade on the beachfront. We are hearing that before that he was able to shoot at least 7 people. One of them, we understand, was killed. 6 others injured in various conditions. This attack happening some 30-40 minutes ago, and still a lot of questions to be asked. Most importantly, if this terrorist was acting by himself or did he have any assistance. Of course, we need to know exactly who's the terrorist, what's his background, if he was acting alone or not. Many questions there.
And Jonathan, what are we hearing from Mada Emergency Services and the police at this hour?
Yeah, these figures, the fact that 1 person killed, 6 others injured. We actually heard the ambulances carrying them mostly to the Ichilov Hospital in central Tel Aviv. Security is, of course, very, very tight at this time. We have to remember this is Passover. Many people on vacations. Many schools are closed. Many work places are closed. So Israelis are out and about, especially on a Friday night, especially in a city like Tel Aviv, which really comes to life on a Friday night. And the beachfront, a popular place to hang out. And this is where the attack took place this evening. Security is very, very high all over the country, and especially in popular places such as Tel Aviv. And again, the importance of people being armed on the streets. The attacker was neutralized quickly due to the fact that people had there were armed people around, being able to stop this terrorist fast, but not fast enough. He still was able to shoot at a few people, as we're hearing, killing 1 and injuring several others.
And if you're just joining us, those are live images from Tel Aviv. Just reporting, just happening a few moments ago, a suspected terror attack right here on Tel Aviv's beachfront. We're talking about, according to preliminary details, the terrorist ran over 2 arenas and hit 7 people, of which 1 was killed and 6 were injured. After that car ramming attack, the terrorist got out of his vehicle and tried to shoot at the police officers, but due to his weapon being stopped, he did not succeed and was neutralized by police. Jonathan, at this moment, has this been ruled as a terror attack?
This seems to be the case. I mean, yes, there are sometimes shootings due to criminal background, but this doesn't seem to be the case. Car ramming and shooting at various people doesn't look like something criminal. It looks like a terror attack. Everything indicating that this was a terror attack. We'll still have to wait exactly for the identity of the terrorists, but everything seems to be indicating that this is the case.
And Jonathan, what sort of retaliation can we expect from the Defense Ministry following this attack in Tel Aviv, which is often considered a red line?
I don't know if we can expect some official Israeli retaliation, because eventually these are things that have been going on. We're nearly about a year into this cycle of violence, and the Israeli reaction has been constant activity in the West Bank, trying to find out and neutralize any possible terror threat coming from the West Bank. Many times the Israeli security establishment is successful, but there's no such thing as stopping every possible attack. We have to understand exactly who's behind this, and let's remember there's the possibility that this is someone from the West Bank. There's also the possibility that this is someone, an Israeli citizen. We have seen such things before. Israeli citizens from the Arab sector, of course, have every right and every freedom of movement, just like every other Israeli citizen. Therefore, we have to wait and see exactly who's behind this.
And Jonathan, just a quick update here from MADA Paramedic Services. The paramedics have pronounced the death of a 30-year-old man and are providing medical treatment for 4 injured people at Ichilov and Wolfson Hospital. 2 are in moderate condition and 2 are in light condition. Jonathan, give us a quick overview of the past 48 hours here in Israel that have seen a major uptick in violence in all fronts.
Yes, we've seen rockets flying from Lebanon, 37 rockets sent from Lebanon to Israel, the highest number sent since the Second Lebanon War in the summer of 2006. Rockets coming from Gaza. This morning we've seen the terror attack, the shooting in the West Bank, killing 2 Israelis. 1 more is in critical condition in hospital, and now this attack in Tel Aviv, another Israeli injured. We're speaking of 3 people killed today, 18 since the beginning of the year when the new government assumed its position. A lot of questions to be asked regarding this.
And Jonathan, we are hearing initial reports that the civilian killed is a tourist. We do have to go out for a break. Jonathan Regev, stay with me. If you're just joining us, we are covering a developing situation here in Tel Aviv, a car ramming attack followed by a shooting attack right here on Tel Aviv's beachfront. 1 person is reported dead and 6 are injured. The terrorist has been neutralized. More right after the break. This is I-24 News. Don't go anywhere.
We're on the inside of political and religious passions in Jerusalem, breaking down the financial trends shaping the global economy, giving you key context, not just headlines, with the stories from Israel that touch the U.S. and those across the region with impact far beyond its borders. Sunday to Thursday on I-24 News. Catch the rundown, where the Middle East meets the world.
Security, your weekly look into security, intelligence, and strategic affairs. Our team brings the latest on the major international conflicts, analysis of the major security issues right here in the Middle East and around the globe. Saturdays, only on I-24 News.
It's a living, breathing organism that pulsates through millennia. Touch it, listen to it, smell it, taste it. Experience the Holy Land like never before. Holy Land Uncovered, every Sunday, only on I-24 News.
The Middle East is changing. Old alliances make way for new partnerships.
Bigger threats lead to new relationships, and shared goals mean new opportunities.
We speak to those who know the inside story.
Or those who are at the heart of the changes. Don't get caught up with the same old story.
Find out what's happening in Middle East Now.
Middle East Now, every weekday on I-24 News.
One show, a whole lot of perspectives.
He is part of the problem.
You want to talk about deplatforming?
People are losing their lives.
Not just what happened, but why does it matter?
I'd like to finish my point.
You're the one stretching terms here.
Join us every night, 8 p.m. Eastern on Global Eye. The global conversation starts here.
Sometimes it's tough to get past all the noise and get to the heart of the story. Even tougher to make sense of it all. And that's where we come in. I'm David Matlin, and each weekday I'll take on the most important topics, breaking down the issues so you can decide for yourself. Zoom in each weekday here at I-24 News.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us as we continue our breaking news coverage of a shooting and car ramming attack happening in Tel Aviv just moments ago next to the Dan Panorama Hotel that's right on the Tel Aviv beachfront, just 2 kilometers away from here. Initial reports say 1 person is dead and 6 people have been injured. The attacker has been neutralized. He's been identified as an Arab Israeli citizen of the Arab town of Kfar Qasem. The Hamas has already praised the attack. We have a defense correspondent, Jonathan Regev, joins me again. Jonathan, what can you tell us at this hour?
So, Sarah, we spoke, 10 minutes ago, and I said that there's the possibility that the terrorist is an Arab Israeli, and of course, when we're speaking of Israeli citizens, then the reality is completely different. The Arab Israelis have every right that every other Israeli citizen has, meaning a freedom of movement, and they can move within Israel freely. And we also know that in the Arab sector, there's a very big issue of violence within the Arab sector, and therefore there's no real problem of access to guns and firearms. And this seems to be the case, as you mentioned. An Arab Israeli seems to be the terrorist in this case. He was shot on the scene. The person killed, we're hearing, is a foreign tourist, and more people are being injured. It begins to remind us the scenes from 2 years ago, Operation Guardian of the Wall. Back then, a lot of violence from within the Israeli Arab sector. This is something that Hamas is clearly trying to instigate the Arab sector within Israel, trying to join this wave of violence. It seems this evening that they've, at least in one incident, succeeded.
And those are live images of Tel Aviv that you can see on your screens right there with Jaffa right there in the background. Our I-24 News studio is just a mere 2 kilometers away. I want to bring in a different voice here into the conversation. Grisha Yakubovich, former head of civilian department of Kogat for IDF. Grisha, what's your analysis on the situation happening right now before our eyes?
Hi, everybody. Unfortunately, this is the second terror attack, less in 12 hours, I think. We already can see candies being given to the people in Tulkarem. Happiness in the Palestinian streets, unfortunately. My condolences to the families of the two sisters that were killed today in the Jordan River. And today, this evening, a 35-old Israeli guy in Tel Aviv. What surprised me this time is that the terrorist is from Kfar Qasem. We need to understand the difference between Palestinians from the West Bank, between blue IDs, East Jerusalem Arab Israelis that consider themselves as Palestinians, and now this terror attack is being executed by the Arab Israeli citizen from Kfar Qasem, and this is a little bit different than the terrorists that we were used until today. I believe that it will unfortunately continue. It's combination of incitement, of religion, of Ramadan, Hamas support of those terror attacks. And I believe, unfortunately, again, that there are more attacks to come in the following days.
And Grisha, how does this latest attack happening just moments ago, how does this affect coordination between Israeli and Palestinian security services, given your experience?
Well, I believe that there is security coordination between Israel and the Palestinian Authority in certain levels. Well, those are the levels that usually the two parties, the two sides prefer not to mention and not to put them publicly, let's say, or talk about them officially. But I believe that something is about to change with the coordination between Israel and the Palestinian Authority, because if not, Israel will be forced to enter to the West Bank and maybe to some large, huge operation to make sure that terror attacks will stop from the West Bank.
Grisha, stay with me. I want to bring in our I-24 News Middle East correspondent, Ariel Osran. Ariel, what's the latest that you're hearing from the Israeli government at this hour in response to this attack taking place in Tel Aviv just moments ago?
Well, Sarah, this comes, as Grisha mentioned, in the wake of the shooting attack in the Jordan Valley, the two sisters who were killed, their mother injured, still in the hospital. And there's ongoing security assessments because, we're talking now at the end of a very, very tense 48 hours on all fronts. And this is exactly, you were talking about the Hamas incitement. This is exactly what they wanted to see. We're talking about combination of all the arenas of Al-Aqsa, Jerusalem, of Gaza, the rockets, of the West Bank, this shooting attack of the northern border, the barrage of rockets from there, and now inside Israel. This is the fifth arena that Hamas, with it, kind of seals all five together, and this is exactly what they've been calling for months. And Israeli security officials have been warning of this scenario, have been trying to avoid this scenario. And I think the security assessments that have been going on and are going to be going on throughout the night are going to be talking about exactly how they can try and, as much as they can, isolate the different arenas and try and deal with them separately.